What's up, Jeepers? It's another install video. Yes, we're in a dark garage and I got a light on my head, but don't worry because it's about to get really colorful in here because we're going to install LED rock lights on Pale Reaper today. This is an awesome set and it's by Xprite. All right, so this is the box that we got from Xprite. We actually ordered it on Amazon and it's 8 LEDs. If you look over the box over here, this is what it looks like. It's got a beveled light. There's 8 of them. We got the cables for it, and I'll open up the box in a second. I do actually have some extension wires because we are gonna need those to go from the back to the front when we do a hookup. But inside this box, we've got, well, there's 7 in here right now because I've taken one out. And then this is your wiring harness. All in here, and I'll split this out later. You also get your foam pads, which go underneath every light. You get 2 different remotes that come with it, a bag of screws, some cable ties, also a magnetic tape, and you get yourself an Xprite sticker if you want to put that on your Jeep or on your toolbox. But we're gonna install this today, and it's gonna be so super fun. Okay, let's get to it. I've got this all laid out in the table. It's everything that you're going to need today if you're going to be installing an LED light kit just like this one. So if you want to look at the table, I already talked about some of this stuff, but I kind of split it apart for you. What you're going to need is some ring terminals because we're going to connect it to the battery. We're also going to connect it to some ground, but the wire doesn't come with any connections on it. It's just a slit black and red wire for you. So we got our extensions. This is one part of the harness. This is where all your LEDs will be hooking up to. It's like an octopus wiring, and then it's got one hookup, which is going to be hooking up to your transponder box, your switch that we're going to run through the windshield, and your cables that'll hook up to your battery and your ground. So it goes from the octopus to this, and then I've separated all your LED lights. You've got a bag of screws, but you're also going to want your own screws. So what they don't have here is self-tapping metal screws, and you might need to screw into some metal if you're doing it on your Jeep. So if you find some self-tapping metal screws, that'll help you out as well. You want some electrical tape. Go over everything afterwards. You get these nice felt pads. These go directly underneath the LED lights. So we're not putting plastic to metal or plastic to metal. Plastic to plastic and plastic to metal. And we got some cable ties that came with the kit, but we have our own cable ties, some big ass cable ties, which we'll put on. So we're gonna map this out, and we'll start from the front, wiring everything through, and then we'll go to the middle, to the back, and then inside the trunk. Okay, so we've located where we're gonna put the fronts on, and you can see right underneath, we are actually going to mount it right underneath here. Wire will be this way. We're gonna screw it into upper part over here, but then we need to find a way to fish this wire out. So I did. So both fronts are gonna be the same. We're gonna run the wire across up this bracket, and I've got this cable tie in here, and you've got the turning signal lights that are hooked up here, but when I put this through, I could find out that I could get into the hood. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the cable, cable tie, I'm gonna put some electric tape around the wire, and I'm gonna feed it through so I can get it in the hood. And I'll show you that in a second once I get it set up. All right, so I have electric taped to the end of the twist tie, the back end of the cable, and now I'm gonna feed through to the hood. Once I find the hole, there you go. I should have it over here. If I go carefully enough, I should get it all the way through to the hood. Boom, there we go. So we're gonna run this wire up. We know we've got good access for the fronts. I'm gonna pull this wire all the way through, and then I'm gonna show you how I mount it to the Jeep. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my 3/30 seconds drill bit, and I'm gonna drill just little marking holes where my screws are gonna go, just so I can mark it, and I'll pre-drill these holes and then screw them in with the self-tapping screws. The first LED light is installed. I put a cable tie underneath the bracket, and I've been able to wire it in. I'm gonna leave this hanging over because we're gonna run the other lights on this side and then drape them down the side of the Jeep before we do our final connection. Up inside the hood, there was this lovely little hole I was able to cable tie to.
Can't see it.
Yeah, right there. Right here. So that's able to pull the wire taut from underneath, and I can hold it over here while I work on the other side. I have both front LEDs put together. Got the wires come down. The next thing we're gonna work on is the bottom and the side of the Jeep. So I'm hoping you guys can see this. I'm gonna crawl underneath the Jeep here. It's very important to make sure that when you're putting the LED light on, you wanna do it inside where it's not gonna get hit if you're doing wheeling. You've got your frame's the lowest part over here. That's gonna get hit first, so you don't wanna put it on your frame. And then you got your rock rail, which is over here. You don't wanna put the LED light there, but what you do wanna do is you wanna put it to the body of the Jeep in between, tucked inside, and then we can run the wires all the way to the front again. So that's what we're gonna do here. So one thing I did find is that the 3/32 drill bit worked good, but to get the screw to go in and bite a lot quicker, I follow up after with the 3/32 with 4/64. Still tight enough hole to get the screw to bite nice and hard, and a little bit of ease trying to get it to grip when you're screwing it in. I also found that it was better to do one hole first, mount the LED light, and then go ahead and drill the second hole while it's in place, so you're not fighting with matching up your holes afterwards. Okay. Now I'm going to feed my wires underneath the bracket over here from the rock rail, so I can tuck them up and away. Okay. I've got the two sides on, and now I'm working on the back. I have the cable tie drop down so I can kind of wedge it in between the inner fender, excuse me, inner fender. I'm gonna mount this one up in here, and I'm probably gonna have to loosen off the fender itself just so I can tuck this last remaining wire up, keeping it out of the way. But we'll get these mounted and we'll move on. So we got all the 8 lights installed. We got the rear ones installed, we've got the center installed, and the front. Everything is wired to the engine bay. We also installed the 2 in the back. And this was interesting if you're doing this. Sorry I didn't catch it on camera. But we got these installed. They actually run down, and there's like a plug that's underneath all of your jack that comes with the Jeep. They run through underneath the Jeep, and we've got them across right to the front of the hood. Right now, they're all set up, but before we cable tie everything in nice and tight, I'm going to work on the wiring harness at the battery area. I'll show you that. Now that that's all set up, I'm going to work on this section of the wiring harness. Here I've got my positive and my negative, but I can't just hook it up like this. I've got to put on some ring terminals. So I'm going to compress these on, and then now I'm going to put one on the battery and one on the side of the Jeep for the ground. I'll show you that after I crimp these in and electric tape them. Now I've got these terminals hooked up. I'm gonna bring this over to the Jeep and I'm gonna hook them up there. Now, over here in the Jeep, I've got one of these 10 mil nuts. This hooks up to the side of the Jeep. This is where my ground's gonna go. So I'm gonna loosen up this nut, take it off, and wire my ground in. Okay, I've got that 10 mil out. Now I'm going to take my negative wire. I'm just gonna run this a little smart, and I'm gonna go underneath all these other wires, put it on the shaft. I'm just gonna put this off to the side. You might not see because my hands will be in the way, but I am gonna start screwing this 10 mil back in. There you go. So you can see the stud sticking in the side of the Jeep. I'm gonna go in there and tighten her up. Put the socket. Just gonna try and hand tighten as much as I can right now. Okay, it's hand tightened. And then I'm just gonna go in here. Okay, with this, work on the side. Nice. Now that we got the positive and negative hooked up, next we're just gonna hook up this part here to that junction. And then we are gonna connect all of our little lights. But first I'm gonna run the lights on the driver's side wires over onto the other side of the Jeep, just so we can plug it all in. We're gonna test it, make sure everything's working. And then we're gonna start tightening everything up. So that is hooking up to power. Now that we've got it all hooked up to power, I'm gonna run the wires over from the other side and we're gonna hook everything up, make sure it's working. Why am I always working in the cold? Okay, so this is a big, huge spider nest, but we want to plug everything in to make sure that it was working. We got lights, we've got lights, we've got lights. We come around the back. We got dual lights in the trunk. We got lights, shining reaper, light on the ground, and light over here. Now we're gonna tuck everything in all nice and neat. And the last step we're gonna do is we're gonna run this switch inside, and you've seen how I did that on another video. If you check out the pod light video that we have, you'll see how I run this through inside of the Jeep. What a fun day. I told you it was going to be colorful, and it is. We've now changed the lights over to like a little light blue, but all the lights are working. Everything is cleaned up underneath the hood. That was a fun install, took a few hours. We got it done. And Pale Reaper now has some underlights. Awesome. Thanks for watching, everyone.